Tonight, two men are in critical condition after a shooting in Springfield this past weekend. Lydia Bice spoke with Springfield police about what happened that was initially reported as a mass shooting. So, Lydia, what did police tell you today?
That's right, Adam. So we now know that 3 people were shot and injured on South York Street in Springfield on Saturday evening just before 11 p.m. However, now social media posts throughout the whole city of Springfield have said that a total of 5 people were shot. But Springfield police told me today that if there are 2 more victims, then they need to come forward. Now, the first victim, a male, was found shot in the head at 601 South York Street Saturday evening. And then when more police crews arrived, they found 2 more victims at another location.
The male that was at 601 South York was shot in the head. The male that was shot, that was located at 611 Tibbetts, the 600 block of Tibbetts Avenue, he was shot in the chest, had multiple gunshot wounds, and the female that was treated and released had a gunshot to her back.
So was there an argument that led up to this whole thing?
Now, police wouldn't answer that question today, but they did say that everyone involved in this incident did know one another, and they, quote, had prior dealings with one another. Now, coming up on Fox 45 at 6:30, you'll hear more about the aftermath of this shooting and about who is still in the hospital. Back to you.
Lydia, thanks. A suspected car thief behind bars tonight after leading police on a chase from Springboro to Dayton early this morning. 18-year-old Deshaun Marin Lee Brinson now being held in the Warren County Jail, facing multiple charges relating to what happened. Springboro Police Facebook page showed that an officer spotted a vehicle recently stolen driving through the city around 4:15 this morning. When they tried to stop it, that driver sped off, eventually pulling over on US 35 and I-75 and then making a run for it. After a brief search with help from Dayton and Kettering police, Brinson was located and taken into custody. Well, take a look at this. You're looking at what's left of a Dayton home after an early morning house fire. That happened on Medford Street. Investigators tell us crews they were dispatched shortly after 4:30 for a building burning and collapsing in on itself. Now, crews faced several challenges putting out the flames. Firefighters say one hydrant had limited water flow and with the other wouldn't open.
Like I said, when we got here, the entire house was engulfed in flames and collapsing. Crews immediately started flowing water until we ran out of water in our tank. Then we established the supply, started flowing ladder 11. Now we've lost that supply and we're trying to get another one.
Now, thankfully, no one was hurt. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. As soon as we learn anything new, we'll update you on air and online at Dayton247now.com. Police now investigating the deaths of 2 people found inside a Miami Township home over the weekend. Early Saturday morning, police say a family member of a man living on Dayton Drive called police after receiving a call from him saying he might have killed his girlfriend. Tonight we're hearing that chilling 911 call for the first time.
Ma'am? Well, he said, Mom, we are inside. He stole money. I hit her.
Okay.
I might kill her. I don't know.
Now, officers responded to that home. They found both 33-year-old Christian Nichols. Found Klossel's crashed rental car back on May 13th with no sign of him. His family tells us they never go this long without speaking to their son.
We just need him found. We're just looking for closure. We're not hoping for anything but closure, you know what I'm saying? I don't want what might happen, but, you know, we have to face up to it. We just want closure.
Crews took canine teams out for a 6-mile search range in the field where his car was found. However, Chief John Adams says the area is full of crops and woods, making the search much more difficult. Now, Klossel is in his mid-40s. He's about 6'2", weighs between 240 and 250. Anyone with information about his disappearance Contact Yellow Springs Police at the number on your screen. The 4th episode of our Missing Nikki McCowan podcast has been released this morning. There's a QR code we got for you that you can scan to download or just search for Missing Nikki McCowan. There's that QR code. You can find it in Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast platform you use to just search Missing Nick McCowan. And make sure you subscribe to the series so you always know when a new episode is available. Last Friday, Centerville City Schools announced its plan for another levy attempt in November. This will be the 3rd one in the past year. Eli Burgett spoke to Centerville administration and community members. So walk us through what this upcoming levy means.
Well, the Centerville City School District serves more than 8,000 students across 13 school buildings, so that means they need a lot of funding from year to year. But after it being rejected twice over the past year, the administration and some parents want to stress the importance on voting on the levy this November.
Centerville is very famous for excellent, academics, one of the best rated sports programs in our league that we're in, excellent fine arts programs that win all kinds of awards and accolades. So it's really sad to think that the community would let that all go.
While some parents want the levy to pass, many do not. There's an entire Facebook group dedicated to voting no for the Centerville levy. It's been rejected twice in a row due to many voters deeming it unnecessary and too costly to the average citizen. In turn, the Centerville City School District was forced to make budget cuts for the 2024-25 school year. Among many other areas, the superintendent says that these cuts have affected the district's ability to maintain extracurricular programs and keep up with rising inflation. Coming up at 6:30 on Fox 45, a deeper look at the Centerville levy, how much it will cost taxpayers, and what you should know before voting in November. Back to you.
Well, kids need the right tools during the school day to focus on learning and set them up for success. So we're partnering with McDonald's and Cranston Classrooms all week long for the Back to School Basics Supply Drive. You can help provide school supplies for local students as they head back to school. Just bring your donation of new supplies to any area McDonald's to help kids right here in the Miami Valley all week long. The president of the Clergy Community Coalition speaking in front of City Hall today, Bishop Richard Cox, urging city leaders to react and approve his most recent petition for the next voters' ballot to effectively bring healthcare resources back to the West Dayton area. Now, this comes amid recent spurts of violence and healthcare scares in that community. The political world is waiting to hear Vice President Kamala Harris's choice of a running mate. Now, the decision to come follows interviews Harris held at her home over the weekend with 3 contenders. Sources say it could extend into tomorrow if she needs more time to decide. Yesterday, Harris interviewed Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. Harris and her future running mate are set to make an appearance at a joint rally tomorrow night in Philadelphia. Ohio Task Force 1, they are heading to Florida as Hurricane Debbie makes landfall, how that team plans to help those affected by that storm. And a new Italy-based manufacturer breaking ground in Trotwood. Why the manufacturer chose Ohio for its first North American plant.
Plus, I'm tracking the summer heat. I'll let you know how long that lasts and when we'll get some storms back in the picture, too. That's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Unusually stormy weather in the west this morning reportedly triggered more than 500 lightning strikes. The rain should also help stubborn wildfires. This picture from near San Antonio includes impressive storm clouds, a large downburst, and in the distance, blue skies. And despite what this family wants, Debbie isn't going anywhere. Rain in Georgia and South Carolina could be historic.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on TikTok.
And speaking of Debbie, Ohio Task Force 1 moving down south in preparation for Tropical Storm Debbie. According to their Facebook post, the team deployed 47 members to help in search and rescue efforts along the coast. Both Tennessee and Virginia task forces were also deployed to help those affected. We'll continue to update you on their journey, live on air and online at Dayton247now.com.
And here's a look at Tropical Storm Debbie right now. Winds of 50 miles per hour. It's moving to the northeast at 6 miles per hour, but you can notice the track here. It's really going to kind of meander around the coastline as we head into these next 24 hours or so, and that's going to be a concern with very heavy rainfall for parts of the Carolinas. So that's something that they'll be monitoring, although it's a weaker storm. Rain and definitely the gusty winds, as well as potentially some flooding concerns, are going to be an issue with that. As far as what's going on for us here in the Miami Valley, we have a frontal system to our north. That's going to be bringing us some rain and the chance for some storms by tomorrow afternoon. Until then, we're going to be a quiet start to the day, but by tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be hot, 90s. Into the evening, storms become possible for us. This will bring that chance for a few stronger to severe storms, so we're monitoring that closely. Heading later into the day on Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, and then slightly cooler air returns by later this week. It's actually going to be pretty pleasant with that lower humidity as well, so I'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit.
Lieutenant Governor John Husted speaking in Trotwood today for the global groundbreaking ceremony. Italy-based manufacturer of power and distribution transformers, Westrafo, is opening its first plant in North America. Husted shares what made the company's CEO choose Ohio.
I talked to the CEO of the company, and he said that he traveled to 20 other states. 20 other states were competing for this project, but he liked what we had here in terms of job training, infrastructure, and a can-do attitude in the community that made them feel very welcome, and that's the deciding factor on why we win.
The new facility is set to create over 500 new jobs and $12 million in payroll for Trotwood's new industrial park. All right, welcome into the Bob's Discount Furniture Sports Desk. Bengals head coach sat down with media today ahead of practice to discuss some recent roster changes after the first week of training camp.
Cam Sample had an injury the other day. He tore his Achilles, so he'll be out for the season. So that was unfortunate. Cam's been a huge part of our team, played a lot of different roles, been awesome in the locker room. We'll obviously support him during his recovery.
Well, Taylor continued saying it's unfortunate to see an injury like this happen to such a young and passionate player. And with the first preseason game coming this weekend, the Bengals now have an interesting task of restructuring their defense.
Well, pretty sticky weather out there. There you see our dew points hanging out in the 70s across the Miami Valley. So yet another hot, humid day, very summer-like. We got storms in the forecast tomorrow. A little relief is on the way. So I'm showing you our muggy meter now, which shows those dew points again in the 70s. You're going to feel it. It's going to be very humid. We're going to see that relief on Wednesday, perhaps a little spike heading into the end of the week. That being said, I do think perhaps Thursday into Friday, especially this weekend, we'll get a rush of some cooler, slightly drier air that will make it feel just a whole lot better, especially by the end of this week. So we do have a cold front, a little relief from the heat and humidity on the way too. So I'll take a look at that 7-day coming up.
Well, if you're looking for some fun things to do before school starts back up, Tej Joshi shares what's on tap for you and your family right here in the Miami Valley. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Hey, good morning, America.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Global markets seeing a massive sell-off to start the week. Audrey Elnashar has a closer look at what's causing this and whether talks of recession are justified.
Markets around the world getting a brutal start to the week. Wall Street not immune, with all major indices falling by multiple percentage points. Even before Wall Street opened Monday, Japan's benchmark stock index had its worst day ever. The sell-off has economists speculating whether the odds of a recession just got higher or if stocks are just balancing out after a record-breaking couple of months.
We had seen double-digit percentage gains for the major stock market averages. And just like a rubber band, if you pull on it long enough, you're going to have some snap back.
Economists at Goldman Sachs say the odds of a recession in the next year are limited, but did raise the chances from 15% to 25%. Before the sell-off, the Fed was widely expected to roll out its first interest rate cut since 2020 when it meets in September. Monday's market panic brought speculation an emergency rate cut before then may be warranted.
The Fed's job is very straightforward. Maximize employment, stabilize prices, and maintain financial stability. If the conditions collectively start coming in that on the through line, there's deterioration on any of those parts, we're going to fix it.
Would an emergency rate cut cause more panic?
If they were to do that, it would require a lot more in the sense of an actual crisis than what we've seen so far, which is not a crisis at all.
What comes next is crucial. Weekly jobless claims, 2 inflation reports next week, and later, the August jobs report will be tells of where the economy goes from here. In Washington, I'm Audrey Elnashar reporting.
Well, hot and humid out there today and tomorrow, but a little relief is on the way. Later this week, we will start to see slightly cooler air take over. So a little relief from the heat and the humidity. By this weekend especially, we'll notice a bigger change. Compared to this week, we'll have on and off bouts of humidity there, but it does look like a little relief will arrive later into this week, and again, especially by this weekend. And you'll see that here in our extended forecast with temperatures that will be back into the lower 80s, low temperatures back down into the lower 60s, which will be a nice change from the bugginess that we've had here lately.
Well, it may just be Monday, but we're already looking ahead to the weekend. Tej Joshi has what's on tap around the Miami Valley for you and your family to check out.
My friends, it may only be Monday, but there are so many great events and festivals coming to the Miami Valley this week. I got to get them on your calendar early. Here's a look at what's on tap. The first event I have to tell you about is the 4th annual Dayton Potato Festival. It's going to be at Oak and Ivy Park this Saturday from noon to 8. There's going to be music, vendors, and lots of potato-themed foods. This event is free to attend and open to all ages. Another event you need to know about is the Englewood Festival at Centennial Park. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday, a 5K race Saturday morning, followed by a parade. Entry for that race is $12, and of course there will be lots of fun car shows, music, and food. Another big event happening in the Springfield area is the Jazz and Blues Fest. This is going to be a great one over at Mother Stewart's with multiple stages, with multiple music, and if you love jazz music, this is the event for you. And the final event we need to tell you about is German Fest. It's going to be this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday over on East 5th Street. That's near the St. Ann Hills neighborhood. Going to be great German food, beer, music, polka dancing, so much more. This one will also have a car show and free to attend for the whole family. My friends, this is a preview of the many events coming to the Miami Valley this week.
The weekend's looking nice right now anyway.
Looking pretty good for it, so hopefully it stays intact.
Dayton 24/7 Now is sponsored by